Hello, I'm Tom DeLora, Vice President of Technical Services at CADimensions, and I'm happy to welcome you to the final part of our 30 for 30 series, celebrating 30 years of SOLIDWORKS with our favorite enhancements of SOLIDWORKS 2026. So far, we've covered the top modeling and performance enhancements in Part 1 and 2. In this final video, we're wrapping it up with enhancements 21 through 30, focusing on the tools across the SOLIDWORKS ecosystem, including PDM, simulation, electrical, and additional user experience upgrades. These enhancements are all about workflow efficiency, helping you stay productive, collaborate more easily, and streamline design to manufacturing. Thank you for joining us throughout this series. Now let's finish strong with Part 3 of 30 for 30, What's New in SOLIDWORKS 2026.
Hello everyone, my name is Cam. I'm a customer success advocate here at CADimensions, and I'm just going to quickly show you how unplanned offline mode works. So I'm going to click my SOLIDWORKS connected, and lo and behold, my internet is out, so I'm going to click here and work offline. So as I continue to work offline, what SOLIDWORKS is going to do in the background is continuously look for a internet connection. So when it does find one, which it will shortly here, it will prompt you to go back online.
Hi, my name is Raceland. I'm a tech support engineer at CADimensions, and I'm highlighting the SOLIDWORKS 2026 enhancement for selection filters and selecting bodies by size. In 2026, you'll be able to use filter features to allow users to select a part's face and visualize which other faces were created with that originating feature. This is especially useful for editing large, complex parts. A new selection filter, Filter Components, allows users to select entire top-level assemblies or components, which is useful for applying materials, deleting, defeaturing, and much more. You'll also have the ability to select large numbers of bodies, which is great for cleaning up imported geometry, and users will now have the option to use a slider to select bodies by size or define a volume to select bodies within. These are just a few of the features that are really something to look forward to in SOLIDWORKS 2026.
Hello everybody, my name is Jim. I'm an application engineer at CADimensions. Today, I'm going to show you two new features in PDM 26 that I'm excited about. The first new feature is the ability to transfer ownership of checked out files. PDM now tracks the changes made after the file is checked out and being worked on, allowing you to then transfer ownership of that checked out file and check it in without losing any work. If you've ever had somebody leave a company with checked out files and had to do an undo checkout and then lost their changes, you'll definitely appreciate this one. The second new feature is great for workflows that rely heavily on browsing the vault. The embedded preview has been updated for step and parasolids, allowing you to view more files without the need to open them in SOLIDWORKS. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching.
Hello, welcome to my technical tips for what's new in SOLIDWORKS 2026. My name is Scott Blackwell. I'm one of the senior application engineers in the CADimensions Services Department. There are great enhancements for SOLIDWORKS PDM and SOLIDWORKS Managed Products. For my topic, I'm going to concentrate on what's new in 2026 for Web 2. For those of you who don't know, Web 2 enables the user to access the PDM Vault through the internet. The user can enter the PDM Vault from any internet browser or device. This functionality is only available with SOLIDWORKS PDM Professional. Over the years, the Web 2 product has gone through various performance and interface enhancements. The 2026 release is no exception. Namely, there are three new improvements. 1, there is greater feedback using progress indicators. 2, the file information has a cleaner and collapsible panel view. And lastly, you can now access named bombs through Web 2. Let's show these three great new improvements. The first one is a progress indicator. More notably, the user will visually see progress, for example, during the login process or when the user loads a model in the eDrawings preview. This seemingly minor enhancement is extremely valuable to the user for feedback. The file information panel is now collapsible. This newly redesigned content panel enables the user to hide or show file details conveniently. Let's stop here for a moment to talk about named bill of materials. SOLIDWORKS PDM has multiple types of bill of material layouts: computed BOM, weldment cut list, item BOM, and name BOM. The name BOM is also known as a saved BOM. It offers the user the opportunity to save another BOM type as a name BOM and change it manually. Users can also transition the name BOM through a workflow much like a traditional file. One of the greatest enhancements to the Web2 application is the ability to view name BOMs. This greatly improves the user experience because it is no longer necessary to switch between the desktop client and the browser. Thank you for exploring with me the what's new for SOLIDWORKS PDM Web2 in 2026.
Hello, this is Jeff Parker, Technical Support Team Lead with CADimensions. SOLIDWORKS PDM 2026 Workflow Management introduces archive and unarchived capabilities. Administrators can archive existing workflows intended for future retirement while maintaining the ability to restore them when needed.
Welcome back to another CADimensions Tech Tip. My name is Stephen Zalis. I'm the Simulation Product Manager here, and today we are talking about what's new in SOLIDWORKS 2026 in regards to both plastics and SOLIDWORKS Flow Simulation. Let's start off with plastics. The improvements this year are both under the hood and kind of some of the different results plots we have. For our material database, we have 85 new materials, 12 new material classes been updated. We have a lot of solver performance improvements, up to 30% depending on what solver you are using. We have a new unfilled volume plot, which I'll get into in just a second. We also have the ability to do edges in our air vent analysis. We'll see that to get our vent pressures a little bit more realistic in terms of what we're actually seeing in the mold, and then some language change around some thermoset materials. Conversion is now curing based and time is now time based. If we get into our unfilled volume plot, right, we've always been able to visualize our short shots inside of SOLIDWORKS by getting that short shot warning right up in the top red text in the middle of my screen here. But new in 2026 is the ability to plot the unfilled volume of the mesh directly in this gray color, so I can see exactly where my mesh or my part has failed to fill. I can also see at the top of my screen I've got about 28% unfilled volume, so I can see a percentage. I can also see my mesh, and makes things a little bit easier. For my venting analysis, right, we have our venting pressure. We've been able to use sketches, vertices, different points in my model, but now in SOLIDWORKS Plastics 2026, I have the ability to assign entire edges into my vent command, right? A lot of the edges along the parting line are where the vents are actually going to get molded in. So we have the ability to use both edges, vertices, and sketch points all together inside of Plastics 2026 to give a little bit more accurate venting pressure analysis in our software. Let's move into SOLIDWORKS Flow Simulation, right? A lot of really good under the hood enhancements in SOLIDWORKS Flow as well. We have the ability to list out all of our surface sources in one chart so we can get a nice sum of all of the different heat generation rates. Our 2 resistor creation is a little bit easier this year because we can actually create them directly inside of the Component Explorer rather than having to bring them in or create them in the engineering database. We have a new fill thin slot feature, so things like thermal paste, epoxies, things like that are really, really thin compared to the rest of our components. We can actually just model the gap in and have SOLIDWORKS fill that gap with material. It will mesh it automatically and it'll pop all of that right in. We have our minimum and maximum goal location, so if I'm tracking things like the hottest point in my model, we can see our syntax down towards the bottom of the slide here. We can make that a little bit easier. In terms of parametric studies, we have a new bubble chart to visualize the dependencies between all of my different variables. And one of my favorite enhancements this year is reusing submodel component parameters, right? So if I have kind of a design library of components that I've analyzed at the subassembly level, I can bring those into my top level and all of those features will then propagate upwards. Our Component Explorer does have some additional features this year. We have a temperature status inside of my Component Explorer and a component status column to let me know whether that's on, off, different things like that. So a little bit of an overhaul to my user interface for both plastics and SOLIDWORKS Flow Sim this year.
Hello, this is Jeff Parker, Technical Support Team Lead with CADimensions. New for DIM Expert and MBD 2026, you can now hide or show multiple annotations just like in drawings. As you select any annotation, it changes to gray, indicating it will be hidden as soon as you exit the command. To see which annotations have been hidden, just issue the command again. Click on any gray annotation to return it to a shown state. This provides more selective control over how you display and communicate design and manufacturing information on your parts and assemblies.
Hello everyone, my name is Fred. I'm going to be talking about the What's New for 2026 for SOLIDWORKS Electrical. And in this specific What's New, we're going to be talking about assigning accessory parts, which now you can assign accessory parts to circuits and or terminals. You can select the manufacturer part in the circuits, define which terminal is associated to each accessory part. You can see now that there is a relation column that now shows you the association between the terminals of the manufacturer part and the circuit. You can select multiple terminals at once and associate and or view which relation they have. Once you have assigned your accessory parts to their circuit, you can then publish it to a wire termination table. This has been the What's New for 2026. My name is Fred, and thanks for tuning into this CADimensions Tech Tip.
Hi, my name is Steven. I'm a Senior Application Engineer at CADimensions, and I'm highlighting this SOLIDWORKS 2026 enhancement for SOLIDWORKS routing. In real-world manufacturing, certain tubes and pipes are often wrapped in multiple layers, different types of insulation, jackets, plus any other exterior protection. In an assembly like this one that is exposed to different weather and motion, it's important to account for all the necessary insulation. In this model, we have a variety of hydraulic hoses that are capable of holding very high pressures and at the same time are used in all types of extreme weather, so outer protection is essential. New with SOLIDWORKS Design 2026, we can model all of those layers directly inside our route and even store those groups of layers as favorites to be used in any other projects. To do this, simply use any desired route, use the coverings command, and then apply either the out-of-the-box existing layers or create your own using SOLIDWORKS Materials Library. Once you select the desired material, select the layer thickness, apply it to the route, and add any other layer with the same exact approach. You will have the opportunity to rearrange the layers if necessary and save this group using the Favorites drop-down menu in the Coverings Property Manager. Let's reuse this cover that we just created by assigning it to these 4 additional hoses. We can do so simply by editing the existing route, selecting the hoses, and use the group named Vermeer that we just created from the Favorites drop-down menu, and you can immediately see the end result. This saves us abundant time by not having to remember the order or the thickness of each material at the corresponding section of the layer. Having the right material for coverings will prevent any unexpected interferences during installations and accountability in the total cost of manufacturing. With SOLIDWORKS Design 2026, creating and reusing custom coverings is easier than ever, providing real-world manufacturing design at your fingertips. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching the final installment of 30 for 30, What's New in SOLIDWORKS 2026. We hope these enhancements help you work faster and get more out of your design tools. On behalf of everyone here at CADimensions, thanks for spending a few minutes with us, and we look forward to hearing how you are enjoying SOLIDWORKS 2026. Thank you.